All right, it's that time. We're actually a minute in already. So, welcome everybody. I want to kick this off today. My name is Josh Christian. I am the CEO of the Home Technology Association. For those of you that do not know who we are the public-facing association that set the standard for home technology integrators, the folks that put in audio, video, smart home, motorized shades, lighting, all the home tech. And many of them are in the space that we'll be talking about today, putting in direct view LED video walls. And today's the topic is display as design, the next generation of large format video walls in luxury residential spaces. So as you've seen giant video walls, they've been around for some years and the picture was grainy. Now they're amazing and you see them in high-end residences because the technology has moved leaps and bounds. And the guest today, the host of this, Megapixel, is one of the inventors and key players in this space. And they're the ones that are bringing this technology to the home. So in just a moment, I'm going to introduce, or I should say, turn the keys over here to Jeremy Hochman, the CEO and founder of Megapixel, and also James Krakowski, who is the Chief Commercial Officer of Megapixel. But before I turn over, I just want to give my personal take on this field and how I got to know the brand. I was at the CEDIA Expo, which is a residential home technology integrator trade show a couple years ago, and I saw a square, not a rectangle, that'll come into our discussion today, a large format square display at the Crestron booth, and it stopped me in my tracks because it had slow-mo digital art playing on there, and it's mesmerizing. If you haven't seen what this looks like in person, it's a showstopper and a conversation piece. I dropped a link in the chat, so we did an article about this. You can see some of these, there's videos embedded in there, so you can see what I'm talking about. And it's not just me. There was an architect at the show that I know, a really high-end architect in Los Angeles, and I showed him this and said, "Hey, imagine you as an architect could build walls, floor to ceiling, wide as you want, and have the whole video display fill that wall. And it could be whatever you want. Yeah, it could be a TV, but think of it as digital wallpaper that could change whenever you want it to, or display still photography or full motion art, any of that. That is amazing. That's really cool. So expand your horizons. It's not just a TV. It could be used as all sorts of different things, even a digital backsplash in a kitchen. So really excited about this topic. And as we'll get into this, I'm going to turn this over to Jeremy. Their technology is quite unique in this space too, and how versatile the thinness and power efficiency and tile size allows you to really make this a canvas that could fit all sorts of applications. So I'll stop speaking and turn the keys over to Jeremy and James.
Great. Thanks, Josh.
Yeah, thanks, Josh. I'm Jeremy, the founder of Megapixel. I just want to say thanks again for taking time out of your busy days to learn more about us and what we do. And James is going to speak about some of our technology.
Great. Thanks, Jeremy. And thank you all for taking time. I've been part of Megapixel since January, and it's been an amazing opportunity to get to know the team at Megapixel. The team has been part of the entertainment industry for over 25 years, starting and focused in film and TV and retail, and moving on to large scale events like Super Bowl halftime shows, Eurovision, Coachella, even designing spear-shaped venues that you might see out there in entertainment capitals of the world. But our expertise is one that we knew could transcend across many different industries. One of the things that we kept thinking about was, how do we take the technology that was designed for the entertainment space, whether it was for film and broadcast volumes or for live entertainment shows like Eurovision pictured here, and bring that into the residential and commercial space. The technology isn't designed. It's big, it's bulky, it's heavy, and energy hungry. So not really designed well for residential space. But we knew there was an opportunity to change it all, and our Ventana tiles was that change. So we saw this opportunity to reinvent the way the LED tiles were, And what you see here is our ability to reinvent from the ground up to create a better tile and essentially create the tile into a building material, not a traditional 16 by 9 aspect ratio tile that you may see today, but into a 300 mil by 300 mil tile that could be used as a architectural piece that delivers incredible dynamic range and color accuracy like nothing else in the market. And so probably the simplest way to describe all this, and coming from the consumer side myself, is OLED quality at the scale of projection. And we're at that point today where the TV has become a commodity, and the opportunity to create larger and larger scale and create better picture quality of the projection is where we are today. And Ventana doesn't only change that, it also is the world's first Dolby Vision certified tile. So now you could truly have a home theater experience in either a dark environment, like a traditional media room, or an extremely bright environment, like in a multi-use part of your home. And this allows us to start thinking differently about the way LED tiles are incorporated into the residential and the commercial space. And so, as I mentioned earlier, it's not because we're not thinking about the 16 by 9 aspect ratio world, we can think about these as digital canvases that can fit anything. So it becomes a free within form living state, whether it's turning a accent wall in your home that can display digital art or have a peaceful scenery, or take a space that could be a ceiling or a backdrop in a bedroom, and then also be able to play different content, whether it's your TV content or just digital art content. It truly becomes this free canvas to do whatever your imagination wants. Here's a great example of how you could ideate utilizing this architectural material into a backsplash inside of your kitchen. Rather than just having to worry about having wallpaper or stone or granite, you could incorporate digital canvas utilizing the Ventana tile. Just like you think about buying a piece of Carrera tile in a 12-inch by 12-inch, you can think about integrating a Ventana tile in that same space and go from changing up your backdrop of marble to then playing the NCAA game as you're cooking in the kitchen. It really creates this free within the framework opportunity.
Yeah, and I'll just add on to that. I think, coming from both the event space, myself personally coming from events and film, but then also being heavily involved in a lot of architectural integrations, it was really a severe pain point trying to always bring 16 by 9 into architecture. So it's one thing if you're hanging a TV on a wall and it's a very big space and you're putting a smaller rectangle on there, but that's not what people want anymore. People want something that's very bespoke and integrated. And there's no such thing as a 16 by 9 shape of Carrera marble. So why would anybody expect to design in that increment? And so one of the things that I think was really important as we were designing this tile technology is that it's incredibly thin. We didn't make it thin just to say that it's thinner, though, as a spec point. We made it thin in terms of being the same thickness as drywall, so that anybody thinking about building materials thinks about this also as a building material. And that's really kind of the key shift that we're after. So it's not just that you can place it and it doesn't take up much space. It's that you can actually place video where you never could have before because the technology didn't exist to put it in those spaces.
Yeah, and to add to what Jeremy's saying there, it's at the point where you're not thinking about hanging a device on a wall, it's thinking about the device being the wall. And it's a significant mind shift that we want to lead the charge in today's industry. I think in the space of home technology, it becomes one where the TV or the digital display becomes an afterthought after the room's done. And our philosophy in all of this is we want our tech to be a shared experience. We want where digital and physical blends together. And that's the only way that you can really think about that, is to start thinking about how you build the architecture of the tech together versus the tech going in after the architecture has been done. And so, in a world where everyone's walking around looking down at their phones and in this individual space, we want to create the shared experience space, whether that's in your home or in a museum or in a commercial application. It's to look up and look around and really be inspired about what you're seeing collectively. And that's where the blend happens. And that's truly the ethos of who Megapixel is. Now, as Jeremy talked about the tile being thinner and I mentioned earlier, being designed from the ground up and completely changing the way that you think about LED tiles. And I think we've all experienced LED tiles in some fashion. They're, as I said earlier, they're thick. You see wires coming out of the back. They run extremely hot in some cases. If you're putting them into a commercial or residential application, you've got to worry about the HVAC. And do you need to change the way that the system's being cooled or the room's being cooled? And we change all of that. We truly are sustainable and efficient in our product. We're brighter at 1,000 nits. As I said earlier, we're also Dolby Vision certified. We consume 75% less power. When you're using less power, that means you're also less energy. And so when you think about the power of our tiles, at max 1,000 nits white light, they're running 35 watts of power. On average, if you were using them in a home theater application, it's about 11 watts of power per tile. So truly sustainable. You're not worrying about the consumption of the wall and the space. And then, as we said earlier, it's thinner than anything else on the market, about 79% thinner, being the same thickness as a sheet of sheetrock. Now, the tile was really a byproduct of the heart of who we are, which is our processing. Our Helios processor is really the engine that brings all the displays to life. It's the one that drives the color accuracy, handles the calibration, provides security, drives the content to the wall. And what we saw was the opportunity to create a better tile, but also to unleash the true power of our Helios processor. And it's the same processor that's being used in these live events and in the entertainment industry is the same processor that's driving our Ventana tiles and that's used in the residential and the commercial applications. And this is what has driven our recognition in the industry and our awards. The box is capable of 8K LED processing. We don't want to always say it's about the resolution. It's more about the pixels and the ability to drive the accuracy down to the pixel level. And so when you think about these boxes, they're capable of driving 35 million pixels when utilized in our digital canvases. And as we talked about the awards, it's not lip service. It's true. We are the tech stack. We have over 300 intellectual properties for our processing and our LED displays. We've been recognized for 3 Emmys. We've been recognized for 3 Oscars, and we've got design awards. And so, as I said earlier, we are the best kept secret out there in the industry, and it's time to bring our innovation and our know-how into the residential and commercial spaces. And as I mentioned, it's our tech stack. We're built for total control. So from our Ventana display to our Helios processing to the mechanics that drive it all, and most importantly, the maintenance piece of it. It's not just about our performance, but it's also our reliability and our durability and the ecosystem that drives all of it, and our ability to manage that ecosystem through cloud diagnostics. And I think it's really important, particularly for integrators today in the home theater space. No one ever wants a dark wall. No one wants to run trucks when they don't need to. No one wants to have dedicated personnel going to a customer's home when it's not necessary. And our remote monitoring through our cloud services is an area for us to be able to see problems before they even happen. There's a few case studies where we've learned that our Helios processor, along with our monitoring, actually were able to predict a power outage before it happened because we could see fluctuation on the power coming into the processing. That's how powerful our monitoring is. And along with our tech stack in our monitoring, when we see that there's problems, we can actually route into the processor and make adjustments to compensate for some of the challenges that may be on the horizon. And as we talk about being the best kept secret, we've got proven experiences out there. We're not just some off the shelf product coming into the market and wanting to make a splash. We're established. We've got a proven track record of success. We're deeply embedded with partners that you would recognize, like JP Morgan Chase and what we've done at 270 Park with one of our tile partners, and our technology driving the tiles and the processing for over 4,000 sources and 4,000 endpoints. Eurovision, when the durability and the credibility of our product maintaining in a live event is necessary. Alaska Airlines, who trusts us for their training center and their corporate offices. And then I just was recently in Macau and got to see firsthand our integration with the MGM Cotai facility, where we're driving 22 screens in their spectacle, along with their theater that's got moving walls and moving doors. That is innovation that we brought to market in 2017 and is still working flawlessly today. And I thought I'd flip through a few more of our examples of what we've done. So you'll see here where we've integrated with AMD in their boardroom in Austin, Netgear in their lobby, which are both partners that we work with our switches and with our silicon and our product. This is a great example at the Milken Center in DC in their hollow room, which is actually our tiles and our processing driving all four walls, including the ceiling. So when you walk in, you have a truly immersive experience that's also interactive with those that are inside the room. This is a example of integration in a residential space at Santa Sofia in Milan. What I think is exciting about this is digital art on display. And this shows that it's not just the 16:9 aspect ratio where you've got a wall along with the transom off to the side. So in this high-end residential scenario where you've got digital art playing, but this can also switch over to be playing then your standard TV content that you'd want. What's interesting about this art too is it's not static. It's slow moving art. It's actually and Jeremy, keep me honest on this one, but it was in the Antarctic, if I'm correct on that, where they were actually melting ice, and it's methane gas bubbles escaping from ice being filmed, which just gives you a peaceful sense inside your room utilizing our tech. This is another example of the Milken Center in DC, where our processing is driving transparent LED railings along with digital art hanging from the ceiling. And this is another unique project we did in Utah with LifeWaves. It's a welcome center where they wanted the entrance to their facility to look like you're walking through a spaceship, and as you're looking out the windows and out into outer space. And so you've got the ceiling and the walls integrated into this motif as you walk into this welcome center. This also shows our ability to do custom work. This is an area where, as we all know, the way the pixels on a LED panel face, it becomes challenging sometimes as you're walking through a tunnel. And we actually worked and customized these tiles. So as you're walking through the tunnels, you have a good off-axis viewing and seeing the content being displayed.
Yeah, and I think this was also kind of an interesting one that happened to be a fixed installation in a corporate space, but kind of blending into our roots of film and TV, because they very much wanted to model this after the Star Trek Enterprise, almost like of walking through a spaceship. And so they actually brought in a scenic designer. They worked on those projects from LA. So it was very much a kind of a blending of entertainment and install. So we love this kind of stuff. I don't expect that this is in the home all the time, but it kind of pushes the boundary a little bit and shows what you can do.
And I think at the end of the day, what we want to deliver is we want to drive moments of awe everywhere. And at the end of, we want to break through the standard walls of 16:9 aspect ratios and really start changing the way that tech is integrated into architecture through our tiles. And it creates this interesting point in time where the TV industry has become a commodity. There's an opportunity for bigger and brighter displays to be integrated into different applications, but to do so in a sustainable and efficient and reliable way. And that's where Megapixel's positioned uniquely to win in the space. So at this point, I would like to open up to questions and answers to anyone in the audience that they may have over Megapixel. Or Jeremy, anything else you'd like to add about what we went over?
No, I just want to say, thanks again for everybody who's taken time out of your day, and hopefully you can tell we're really passionate about this stuff. And we design, the hardware and the software very cohesively to solve real world challenges. So we're not just trying to make a Me Too product. It's really something that's very special. But we also want to partner very deeply with people. So we're not wanting to just sell boxes of things. We really would love for all of you to approach us with interesting projects, big or small, and partner on those things, and let us come in and act as a little bit of a tech backstop to help do something that's off the beaten path. So
I would say, to reiterate what Jeremy said, think of us as a trusted partner and a solutions provider, not as a manufacturer looking to be transactional.
yeah, yeah, well said.
And I'm popping back on here. There's a question that came in just now from Chris, who's an awesome HTA integrator. And I'll just read his because he gave his email, so you can
Yep.
email him some detailed information. But for the benefit of all that are attending right now, his question is um, interested for a large wall in a condo display of art images from a phone. So the phone's going to be the source. And it'll be also a TV. I would like to know pitfalls to avoid. So, and he gave his email, but any,
Yeah,
Yeah, I
that's
think,
actually a great question. Oh,
yeah.
sorry, James. Go.
No, Jeremy, go ahead. I was going to say, yeah, Chris, we'll follow up with you, but Jeremy, please
Yeah.
provide some of the insights on the pitfalls there.
Yeah, Chris, we'll definitely follow up. I think the biggest challenge that we see happen is that because this technology it has a lot of presence in a space, right? We're not putting a 55 or 75-inch TV on the wall. We're putting in, something fairly substantial. You can't tell the scale, but like this behind me is 10 feet, right? It's not like a tiny little TV. It's actually kind of far away from me. So, when you do these things, it is benefiting most to have more architectural coordination and integration meetings well ahead of a space being finished. So even though the actual LED tiles will get installed after a space is dust free, um, we want to talk in detail about how it's integrating. What is the edge detail? Is it sunken into the wall? Is it flush mounted? Is it proud? Does it have trim applied to it? And then also from a source perspective, like you're mentioning, that knowing ahead of time that it's going to be AirPlay or Chromecast content, rather than something coming out of a cable box or coming out of a computer. Knowing all those things, we can help design the system to operate in a way that's really seamless. One of the things that we encounter quite often is kind of two things. One is, okay, we've like finished the whole house, now put it on this wall. And sure, we can come in and do that, but gosh, it would have been like way cooler to really make it thoughtful in the space. That's from the architectural and the decor side. But then on the control side, it kind of goes the same way. Understanding the use case, that's today, but also potentially in day two, we can ideate on ways to control it in an elegant way so that you're not, there aren't 20 remotes on the table, and it doesn't get really complicated. We want it to be a very seamless experience for the user. So we'll definitely reach out and make sure we can help guide that process. Great question.
And Jeremy, something you said is very key, and it's a problem that integrators face a lot, is the integrators are often brought in way late when these conversations should have
Mhm.
happened early on. So something that we get on our soapbox here at HTA, and for all the integrators tuned in, a product like this gives yet another great reason to have a conversation with an architect interior designer that shows that you
Mhm.
deserve a seat at that design table as someone that is bringing architectural elements through displays like here and should be part of that conversation. So there's no last minute issues. Like, even though this is a very power efficient and energy efficient product, there's still what about cooling? I mean, everything that's electronic puts out some heat. So this is the things that you could bring up to the architect and designer. Bring me into this space early because we'll figure out what technologies go and how to cool them, how to power them. So it's all integrated. The framer, everyone is on the same page. So it's just another excuse to pick up that phone and share your
Mhm.
value to be part of that as an early design team consultant, part of their schematic design team. So just a little positioning statement there. Another question came in from Brad. What can you say about the heat and what the consumer also needs to be able to control the display, i.e., Crestron or something simpler?
Great question. So heat is extremely minimal. As James mentioned, the tiles are only about 11 watts when they're showing HDR content. So generally, we've thus far we've never had a situation where we had to make special HVAC accommodations in a space, even in corporate environments where we've had walls that are 4, 5, 700 tiles. They there isn't any special accommodation for airflow or ventilation other than just like specific air gaps that will dictate with the CAD drawings. When it comes to integration with other systems, one thing that's really fantastic is that we have a very, very extensible API in Helios. And so basically anything that you can do in our software tool set, you can also do remotely. So, interfacing with Crestron, um, uh, Lutron, QSys, all of those systems are very easy to interface with. And so anything from input switching to color preferences to blacking out the screen or changing brightness, for time of day or something like that, that's all readily available in the API. And one call out, because you had asked about power, what's really, really cool is we have a special proprietary low power blackout mode. So, when the room, let's say an occupancy sensor hooked up to Crestron senses like nobody's in the room, it's, 2 in the morning, you've gone to bed, this thing shouldn't be illuminated. When we put Helios into a special blackout mode as opposed to just video black, it will actually de-energize all of the driver electronics inside the LED tile, and it drops down significantly lower than that 11 watts. So of course you could decide to like physically turn it off, but most people will just leave it energized constantly so that it's like ready to display an image, but it goes into that hyper low power mode. Um, I also see a question in the sidebar, another one from Chris about like, will we help, visit locally or remotely assist, et cetera. One of the ways that we work is, as James mentioned, we really want to come in as a trusted partner. So most all of the displays that we sell, we provide a white glove install service. And so as an integrator, we would work together with you. You would do all of, we would expect most likely that you're doing all of like the architectural coordination, you're doing project management, scheduling, bringing in ladders and pulling cables and those kinds of things. But then when it comes to actually installing a wall, we will bring in a crew, usually of a couple people, and we'll set up the LED tiles. We'll do that alongside with you so that you can understand how they go in. We'll train you on site on how to do like a repair or a replacement of something if you need it. And then we also bring in our remote monitoring. And that's something that, depending on your comfort level, we can set up remote projects. They can, of course, from a security standpoint, they're siloed very much, like either by homeowner or by integrator. You can help us choose how you want to be segregated on the network. But that remote monitoring is something that um, levels of access can be just the homeowner, the integrator, and you can add us in there as well. So if there's, an issue pops up, somebody says, "Hey, I can't get my Blu-ray player's not showing up," or whatever that thing is. Um, that's something that, like first line of defense, you can remotely get into the system to see that, oh, the input's missing. Like, let's check the cable, or maybe the device is powered off, that's upstream. If it's something that you're not able to easily resolve, you can then contact us, and we can remotely dial into the system to diagnose and help fix things. So the remote aspect of this is really, really powerful. We know that this is going into an environment that's very high touch, high level of service with these homeowners. And this is very similar. We're in a lot of retail spaces, for example, where there might be 1,000 retail locations and all of them need to be operating. And there's not an AV expert in all 1,000 locations. And so the monitoring capabilities are really very powerful for making sure that it's got high reliability and uptime. So that's definitely something that we would lean in together with.
And on top of that, just add, we have a global tech support team that covers pretty much all time zones and is monitoring email traffic 7 days a week. So we have remote support when needed as well.
Impressive. The technology's amazing. I can't believe it's only 11 watts per panel. That blows my mind, and how thin. That is huge. And thanks for the questions, by the way, too.
Yeah, really thoughtful questions.
Yeah.
Thanks for asking.
We are here to support all of you. And whether you have questions now or questions later, you can reach us through our sales email address or support email address, or reach out to myself or Jeremy directly. We're here to help you all and educate you more on our products and our offerings. And if you have projects on the horizon, let us know. We're ready to start helping you on tackling those projects.
Now you've got James and Jeremy as your partners here to help you with all sorts of solutions. And I love the fact that, and this is great because HTA integrators are custom integrators. They don't like to do things off the shelf. They like to do things and be artistic with their clients and come up with creative, cool things. You are a canvas for that, literally, right? So, working with your technologies and such, I'm looking forward to seeing challenging our integrators to see what cool applications they could use using your products.
Yeah, we look forward to it.
Well, thank you all for the time today and allowing Jeremy and I to tell you a little bit more about who Megapixel is and what we are doing, and excited to see where we can go together.
Sounds good. Thank you, everybody. Have a great day.
You too. Thank you.
Thanks.